SuperGraphics is a wide format company that specializes in everything from retail to stadium signage. We have clients that are everything from big box stores like Nordstrom through sports teams like the Seahawks and the Mariners. The full gamut of everything as far as merchandise, advertising, and large format advertising. We have a couple Durst printers, we have a ViewTech, we have a few Canon printers, we have a Collinsberg, and then we have a Zund cutting table. When I joined the team, it was pretty unstructured. Everybody had their own way of doing things, and there was no, for instance, there was no color control, there was no profile control, and so when it came to setup, it was always a matter of unraveling how it was done and then re-engineering or reverse engineering the project to match what we did the last time. And so there was a lot of mismatched parts and a lot of kind of unpredictable results that came out in our printing. So that was the beginning of automation for SuperGraphics. A lot of it was instigated by technology that was press specific. Durst had a series of automation functions available. EFI has its own automation, but ultimately none of it was cohesive for multiple different printers. And so we needed to find something that was global that we could kind of use to run everything. And so by process of elimination, we came across Significance, and they put together a pretty coherent, easy to understand level of what automation could look like for us. We could go with something like Switch automation, which gives us complete control and a way more dynamic environment to grow in. A majority of our work falls outside of a predictive, standard banner size or standard template, and so we needed something that we could quickly adapt and supplement into these rapidly changing demands. 90% of what we were doing, I'd say actually closer to 100% of what we were doing, was all by hand. There was very little that was being automated. And so everything was done by hand, and if we had a bank of wall murals that we needed to do, the designer was creating, drawing out the boxes to make the panel sizes and manipulating Illustrator into generating the file that we would need to then send into production. And then all of the production marks, etc., would be added at rip level in some cases, or by designer in most cases. So there was a considerable amount of handwork that went into stuff. And what we've actually discovered is that we've saved what used to take 2 or 3 hours to do now takes 20 minutes to do by way of Switch automation and the different functions and modules within it. Significance is really good about explaining to me is that you can take automation and you can develop it towards a goal, which is kind of a wild goose chase, or you can take automation and you can put it towards something that has pressure points or pain points and use it as a way of loosening the pressure so that you can spend more time on the wild goose chase. And so that's kind of what we've ended up doing, is we've gravitated towards implementing solutions to everyday problems within pre-press. Minimal things, just small things. Our hot folders have been the biggest game changer for my team, and it's the easiest thing that we can do with automation. Yet at the same time, it's also pertinent because we can take that and then supplement that into the more complex workflows. And eventually, we could build out an entire pipeline to handle simple things. Like if client A is only going to give us a document with no bleed, no crop marks, and they're set it in RGB, we're able to send that entirely through and get everything converted, the bleed that we need, and a cut file generated with a single submit point, which is fantastic. And that has increased kind of the quality of life of my team specifically. We've been scaling up. I guess a really good for example is that our production team has grown at least twofold, if not three, in the past year. And my design team has had effectively the same amount of designers the entire time. So our team hasn't grown. When I first started at the company, it was production was waiting for design to send the file down. And then now it's production is constantly being bombarded with projects and they're doing their best. I mean, this week is a perfect example of everybody just, burning the candle at both ends, getting it out the door. And if it wasn't for automation, some of these deadlines never would have happened. And so we're seeing the fruit of that for sure.